air.
Yeah, basically not a lot of wind, but that will change a little later on today, guiding that more in our direction later on today. Right now, we have a lot of sunshine. Last day of 1-teens before the numbers come down. We had a string of about a week, including some record temps last weekend. Hazy skies, yeah, possibility with that smoke in our area. Normal temps, though, will begin to move into the Coachella Valley, and I think you'll like the numbers coming up in the 70 forecast. Today, though, still above that 110 mark for many of us, 111 for Palm Springs. Winds picking up a little later on today out of the west. Full forecast, and that 7-day this half hour.
All right, Jerry, thank you. Once again, our top story is the Apple Fire. It's still burning in Cherry Valley. This morning, it's burned more than 26,000 acres and is now 15% contained. Thousands of people have had to leave their homes, and it's uncertain when they can safely return. 12 structures so far were destroyed. One firefighter was injured. The fire is spreading northeast towards wilderness areas. The fight continues to keep it away from some homes. And take a look at this. The Apple Fire can be seen from Desert Hot Springs, the flames peeking out of the San Gorgonio Mountain. This as more valley residents say they're seeing and smelling more smoke. And as we know right now, the cause of the Apple Fire, a vehicle malfunction. Investigators say it was a diesel-fueled vehicle emitting burning carbon from the exhaust system. The fire started around 5 last Friday afternoon. Investigators ask anyone who was near Oak Glen Road at that time to call their anonymous hotline. The number's on your screen right there. So far, no one is in custody and there are no suspects. Fire officials say they're reporting slow and steady progress. A meeting was held last night for the Cherry Valley community. Officials answered questions about the progress of firefighting efforts. Some people could experience power outages in the surrounding areas. And as thousands had to leave their homes quickly, a 76-year-old Vietnam veteran took matters into his own hand when he saw flames coming dangerously close to his home. Our Daytona Everett has his story.
A hose in hand and a fighting attitude.
You're trying to save your property, so anything goes through your mind. You're just going to get out there and do it.
My parents, they don't quit. They don't know how to do it. He had chemo that morning.
76-year-old Vietnam vet Roy Watkins has seen a lot in his lifetime, but the views from his backyard this weekend are up there.
The helicopters brings back a lot of memories, and oh hell. Anyway, those guys really knew what they were doing.
Roy lives on Apple Tree Lane, the spot where several small fires broke out before they conjoined to make what's being called the Apple Fire. This right here is the exact location where neighbors say that first fire broke out, the wind pushing the flames up and around the corner. Now that's left right here is a charred mess of debris and a community that's just happy to still be standing.
Looking at your backyard now, what do you think? What's going through your mind?
Well, savior. Somebody was looking out for us.
And also looking out for other houses in the area.
We were watching the fire burn up the hill towards this white house on the hill, and there was one fire truck there at the time. And at one point for 20-30 minutes, we couldn't see the house through the flames and the smoke. And we were praying fierce for those folks up there. And when everything dissipated, there was one crew there still with their hoses. The house was standing, the crew was there. And that was an utter miracle that those first responders, they saved that house.
Roy also grateful for the first responders, so he didn't have to fight this battle alone.
I'm glad that they were here because I wasn't doing much. I wasn't getting the fire out.
Daytona Everett, NBC Palm Springs.
He sure was lucky. A separate fire is burning in Whitewater called the Water Fire. This one is only 10 miles east of the Apple Fire. That fire has burned 52 acres. It was previously reported at 70 acres, but more accurate mapping puts it at 52. The Water Fire is now 90% contained. Let's take a live look outside right now. You can see there's quite a bit of smoke in the air here in the valley. Let's turn things over to Jerry right now. And for people who have any breathing issues, they need to stay inside.
Yeah, it should get worse a little later on today, too. Right now, 96 degrees, 8-mile-an-hour winds, 25% relative humidity at Palm Springs at this hour. Temp check time around the valley. includes 97 at 29 Palms in Desert Hot Springs, 98,000 Palms, 94 degrees at Coachella, leading the way, 97 degrees at Indio, and 98 at Rancho Mirage, 96 Cathedral City. Clear skies on our satellite imagery. We still have that ridge of high pressure in the upper levels in the neighborhood, keeping those temperatures slightly above average by a handful of degrees. So above 110 for many of us this afternoon, 111 to 114 today. Lots of sunshine, of course, haze with that smoke is a good possibility. Middle 40s for the dew points this afternoon, and we're already moving into triple-digit territory this hour and surpassing 110 by 3 today. Now, as far as our Comfort Air 3-day forecast, we'll be at 111 today. Then the numbers fall below 110 for the first time in a week. 107 tomorrow for Palm Springs. That's exactly where we should be. That's normal. And then we keep on moving down, subtracting a few more degrees. 103 on Thursday. We'll have the rest of the numbers into the week and coming up in the full forecast. But regarding the fire and the smoke, 76 degrees near Cherry Valley. Winds out of the west now. They're beginning to slowly pick up. Still not all that bad. 6 miles an hour, gusting past 10 occasionally. Humidity at 27%. That will continue to fall too. As far as the air quality around the area, latest air quality index readings do indicate pretty good around the valley. Caution, moderate around the San Gorgonio Pass and Joshua Tree at this moment. But again, as I mentioned just a bit ago, those numbers will begin to move up as that wind out of the west continues to accelerate and push that smoke to the east. Full forecast is 7-day this half hour.
Jerry, thank you.
Coronavirus coverage brought to you by East Valley COVID-19 testing site, serving residents of eastern Coachella Valley.
Case numbers were reported on the low side last week because of an issue with the counts coming from the state. This is according to the Riverside County Public Health Officer, Dr. Cameron Kaiser. The daily numbers dropped significantly last week, sometimes into the 200 range, which we haven't seen for months. The county says they expect to see significant increases this week with adjusted numbers. The issue did not have an impact on the county's hospitalization or death data. It's been almost 3 weeks since a military medical team was sent to help Eisenhower Health with a surge of COVID-19 patients. Our Kitty Alvarado has an exclusive interview with a doctor assigned to this mission.
It's been an honor to protect these people here in this community.
For nearly 3 weeks, Captain Tyler Paget and 20 other healthcare professionals with the 60th Air Wing Medical Group from Travis Air Force Base have been serving a very important mission at Eisenhower Health in Rancho Mirage, caring for patients with COVID-19.
It's been a really rewarding experience so far. My colleagues and I are feeling very energized to be a part of this mission.
They're assigned to the COVID units and emergency room, assessing and admitting suspected COVID patients.
We've seen a wide variety of illness, both from people that we are able to send home and people that go to the ICU.
Dr. Alan Williamson, the hospital's chief medical officer, says when the team arrived, they were dealing with a COVID surge and operating nearly at capacity.
So the staff was really worried. The staff was tired from 4 months plus of work, and now just seeing those numbers rage out of control was really disheartening. So the first and most important job they had here was really just a morale boost to the staff of the hospital that have been working here already. And that was invaluable.
And they've stepped up to the challenges of treating patients suffering the worst effects of the virus, constantly having to put on protective equipment, coping with the stresses of knowing they can potentially get sick, and being there for patients who can't have contact with loved ones.
Providing a lot of emotional support to the patients who are scared, who are sick, who are short of breath.
It feels very powerful to be able to hold someone's hand whenever they're scared.
And yet they're far from home, facing an unknown enemy.
I imagine for the family members, this is probably, nearly as frightening as them being deployed out into a war zone.
But if they're scared, they don't show it. They just focus on the mission.
It's to help Americans in their time of need, no matter where they are. We stand ready and willing to do so.
In Rancho Mirage, Kitty Alvarado, NBC Palm Springs.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says schools can reopen, a dramatic recommendation from the nation's top infectious disease doctor. In an interview, he said children's safety should always remain top priority, but he says psychological and nutritional benefits of school are most important. And for college kids, he says testing is key. Meanwhile, the president sent a campaign letter to supporters urging them to wear masks.
I'm very pleased to see that the president is wearing a mask more now, The vice president, I know I'm with him a fair amount. He wears a mask when he goes out and is in situations where masks are needed. We need more of that consistency.
Dr. Fauci still stresses while children statistically have a lower risk of getting severely ill with COVID, the virus can still make children ill. It's still a risk. Large gatherings are banned in Los Angeles County, but last night dozens of people were partying at a mansion in Beverly Hills. Aerial footage shows partygoers not wearing masks or social distancing. Police didn't break it up, but they did issue parking tickets and towed some cars parked illegally outside the mansion. Party organizers say they checked guest temperatures and handed out masks and hand sanitizers. Up next, caught on camera an explosion at a fireworks warehouse in Beirut. And right now, a fire burns out of control. Here's a live picture from Beirut. The fire, a hot glow in the distance. We'll have the very latest next. And we'll hear from the mom who lost her Marine son during a training accident near San Clemente Island last week. Authorities identify the 8 Marines and 1 sailor who are presumed dead after a training accident near San Clemente Island last week. Only 1 body has been recovered. One of the Marines was Lance Corporal Marco Barranco. Rachel Kim spoke to his mother.
The countless hugs and words of comfort are helping Lupita Garcia deal with the sudden loss of her only son.
I love you so much.
21-year-old Lance Corporal Marco Barranco from Montebello is among the 7 Marines and 1 sailor who are now presumed dead after their amphibious assault vehicle sank during a training exercise off San Clemente Island on Thursday. 16 were on board when the crew reported they had taken on water. The 26-ton AAV went down in water hundreds of feet deep beyond the reach of divers.
I wanted to rush out there and go looking for myself. That's what I felt like. I'm like, no, I have to go find him. I have to do something.
The military ended the search effort after 40 hours. Garcia was notified that her son, who was considered missing, is now presumed dead. As this mother grieves, she also wants to let everyone know how the young rifleman based out of Camp Pendleton was living his dreams.
He wanted to be a soldier since he was very young. He was said Marines, and that's what his mind was set, and even though he was so young, 10 years old.
Barranco's father showed us the dog tag his son made as a child and the first one he got once he became a Marine. Garcia said her son was inspired to serve his country because of the opportunities it gave his immigrant parents and family.
He was very grateful. He wanted to be part of this great nation, and he wanted to protect it. And I know he would do it again.
Barranco's parents said after his military career, he wanted to continue his life of service in law enforcement.
Buzz, I'm so proud of you. You are the best son I could ever ask for. My heart goes out to all those families because it's not just my son.
That was Rachel Kim reporting. 7 aboard that amphibious assault vehicle survived. 2 Marines were airlifted to the hospital. 1 is in critical condition. The other is stable. And a community in Covina is remembering another fallen Marine, also presumed dead from last week's training accident. A U.S. Marine flag is flying outside the family home of 19-year-old Private Brian Baltera. That's in Covina. Baltera's mom said in a statement that he was her only son and that he showed his wonderful smile to everyone he met. One neighbor said the community is helping the family as much as they can. The hacker who allegedly took over high-profile Twitter accounts is being arraigned via Zoom today. According to court documents, 17-year-old high school student Graham Ivan Clark conned a Twitter employee into getting his credentials. This allowed him to tap into the mainframe of the site and ask for Bitcoin from accounts including Barack Obama and Bill Gates. He netted more than $100,000. Clark, if convicted, could face 150 years in prison. Isaias is no longer a hurricane, but is still causing damage with high winds and flash flooding as it moves up the East Coast. Here's aerial footage of the damage in North Carolina. NBC's Jay Gray is in Wilmington, North Carolina, with the latest on this fast-moving storm.
Hey there, and amazing to see. We're actually getting a break in some of the clouds here and a bit of sunshine peeking through. Wouldn't have thought that last night when the wind was intense here, ripping apart areas, driving rains causing flash flooding as the storm made landfall about 40 miles to the south. Now it's continuing to move up the East Coast and still delivering that rain, delivering harsh winds, and will for the next day and a half. It's a fast moving storm, but it's going to cover a lot of ground as it moves inland. And of course it is hitting right now during the pandemic. This is something that emergency teams have never really had to deal with, and they're having changed the way they handle evacuees at shelters.
Shelters will screen people for coronavirus symptoms. If someone has COVID-19 or shows symptoms, they'll be directed to a sheltering option for isolation or medical attention.
This is also for some of those rescue teams, the Swiftwater Rescue and teams that move into some of the damaged areas, to rethink their strategies. Smaller groups moving in and trying to help out. Look, it's something they're learning on the fly, and they'll have to continue to learn as this storm continues its push to the north. That's the latest here in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm Jay Gray. Back to you now.
And making headlines around the world, here's a live picture from Beirut, Lebanon, of a fire at what is described as a fireworks warehouse. This has been burning for several hours. You can see in the shadows there the outline of debris from the explosion. Now take a look at the actual explosion captured on cell phone and dash cam. You can hear the shock wave of that explosion and see how it rattled buildings miles away. Local media also reports multiple injuries at the scene. Authorities told hospitals to prepare for casualty. No word yet on what caused the initial blast. 3 Micronesian sailors stranded on a remote Pacific island drew a giant SOS message in the sand to attract the attention of rescuers. Australian and U.S. aircraft located the men Sunday about 120 miles west of where they had set off. The sailors were unable to complete a planned 26-mile trip between 2 Pacific islands. Coming up, just in time for back to school, the Galilee Center is getting ready for its 10th annual school supply backpack giveaway. It will be different this year. We'll have the details.
Hey, good Tuesday morning. Looking at our Agua Caliente Casino cam. Yeah, these are not natural clouds. This is smoke coming from the Apple Fire, which is basically not moving much at all, but it will move its way to the east a little later on as those winds continue to strengthen out of the west. As far as temps yesterday, above 110, 113 yesterday in Palm Springs, same number for thermal, and we'll be close to those numbers again today. But after that, we'll see some changes around Southern California. 98 degrees right now at Thousand Palms, 97 for the airport, and Desert Hot Springs 94 degrees. Currently under clear skies at Cabazon 75 at Big Bear. A little bit of smoke there. As far as conditions, yeah, clear skies of natural clouds over the Coachella Valley. Not much going on over the southwest again, kind of a quiet weather pattern. Do have a little monsoonal moisture pushing its way from south to north, from Mexico into Arizona, but all that's still going to stay to our east. No rain for us. Just clear skies and a little bit of smoke, and temps that'll be above average. 111 to 114, right where we should be by tomorrow. Yeah, above average again today with mostly sunny skies. Winds, yeah, they'll pick up a little later on today, much like the last couple of days. A little gusty, San Gorgonio Pass into the high desert, Joshua Tree, Yucca Valley, Desert Hot Springs, especially Whitewater getting a little gusty in the late afternoon, early evening hours. But biggest role this wind will play is pushing that smoke into the eastern perimeter. That includes the high desert and parts of the Coachella Valley later on today. So 70s for highs along the coast, inland Empire, 80-degree temperature readings. That includes 83 today at Los Angeles, but above 110 for this afternoon for the Coachella Valley. 111s, 112s today. And then tomorrow the numbers start coming down. These are average numbers for the Coachella Valley. It's been about a week since we've seen this. 107 tomorrow for Palm Springs, 109 at Indio. Then we have a couple other factors. That ridge that brought us the hot temps over the past couple of days, that weakens. winds. And with the assistance of a trough that'll be to the north, we'll get an onshore flow and slightly cooler air, bringing those numbers down below average for the first time in a while. 103 to 107, that'll be Thursday, with winds that'll be a little gusty late in the day. And also it'll push that Inland Empire fog into the east a little bit more too. A very western edge of the San Gorgonio Pass could see some stratus again. That's Thursday morning, low visibility in some areas. Temperatures will be at their coolest. That'll be Thursday, 103 for high. We'll take that in early August, 106 at Indio. Clouds, basically cloud-free, except for that haze that possibly will be hanging around through Wednesday, possibly even Thursday, too, over the next several days. And surface moisture, 40-degree dew points today. Slightly drier air moves in Wednesday and Thursday, 30-degree dew points. Comfort Air, 7-day forecast, 111 today, and then back to normal, 107 tomorrow. Below average Thursday, 103 for Palm Springs. Numbers move up slowly, but still not out of the ordinary for this time of year through at least Saturday.
With back to school knocking on our door, there are many students in need of back to school supplies. Bighorn Golf Course has teed up with the Galilee Center to supply backpacks loaded with school essentials for a big giveaway. It happens on August 6th. Here this morning with the details is Claudia Castorina, co-founder of Galilee Center. It's so good to see you this morning.
Good to see you too, John.
How did you first get wind of the idea even 10 years ago that this was something you needed to do?
It was evident that the children needed encouragement, and not, a little bit more than encouragement actually, to go back to school. Children from K through high school get the backpack and school supplies, notebooks, pencils, all the different school supplies. And now with the years we have make it a little more efficient, where our school supplies go according or as close as possible according to each of the grades.
You also need volunteers to help maybe put these backpacks together?
Yes, actually, we have a very limited number of volunteers because of the everything that is going on. We still have some spots open for the distribution on Thursday, August the 6th. It's going to be outside. It's a drive-through distribution, and we're starting at 5, so 5 in the afternoon. So if we can get volunteers anytime after 3 p.m., that would be great.
And so if somebody would like to maybe contribute, maybe with money, because that can always help, how do they do that?
Absolutely. Money always helps. they can visit our website, www.galileecenter.org, galileecenter.org, or they can give us a phone call and we can take donations over the phone as well. Or some people might like to mail their donation, and that's also acceptable. Send us a check.
We should remind people that this is going to be a drive-through pickup this time, no contact, and they have to wear a mask, right?
That is correct. It's the first time we're doing this. We have been distributing food and baby diapers. So same model, same idea. We're going to distribute the backpacks. Children, for the first time, they don't need to be present to receive the backpack. However, we're asking the parents if they can show proof. That's all they have to do. Show proof of the children, anything from the school of their children. Everybody has to wear masks inside their vehicles. All the volunteers we're going in, and staff, we're going to be wearing masks, gloves, and all that to minimize any risks.
Well, we hope it's a huge success, and I would imagine that the need is probably greater this year than ever before.
Yes, it is. You are totally right. Like everybody else, the residents of the East Coachella Valley are facing tremendous challenges. So we want to do and help as much as we can. And I'm going to take this opportunity to thank all the supporters, people who have already donated money for this event. And especially this event has been possible because of the Bighorn CARES grant.
All right. Well, you are certainly an important asset in this valley, and continued success. Thank you, Claudia, for spending time with us.
Oh, thank you, Joe, for inviting me.
And keep it right here. We'll be right back.
In your health today, since most kids will not be going back to the classroom, that means lots of snacking at home, and parents say they are concerned because kids are now packing on the pounds. So this week we'll be talking about healthy snacks for those kids. Experts say you might want to stock up your fridge with yogurt. Yogurt is an excellent source of protein and calcium. It is especially important for kids' bones. Some yogurts also contain live bacteria, which benefits the digestive system and microbiome. But most yogurts marketed toward kids are high in sugar. So instead, choose plain, full-fat yogurt and sweeten it yourself with fresh fruit or a drizzle of honey. You might want to get creative. Throw some smiley faces on there if your kids are young with the blueberries. Every little bit helps to get them to eat that healthy food and stay away from the bad stuff. And that's what's happening in your health today.
And in consumer news, Twitter expects to pay a fine of up to $250 million. This over the use of personal data for targeted ads. It's part of an ongoing investigation by the Federal Trade Commission. The FTC accuses Twitter of taking users' phone numbers and email addresses. They admitted it inadvertently matched a user's data with marketing list. It has since stopped doing that. Facebook paid a $5 billion fine for similar infractions last year. Apple is the world's most valuable public company. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, the company posted revenue of nearly $60 billion in the 3 months period ending in June. That's an 11% increase from the same period last year. Shares jumped another 2.5% on Monday, giving Apple a value of $1.86 trillion. Wow. In this morning's Showbiz Report, Boys State is an upcoming documentary on Apple TV Plus. It's about Texas teenage boys learning about democracy. Manny the Movie Guy has a sneak peek.
Congratulations on Boys State, you guys. It's an eye-opening documentary about democracy that everyone must see, and it's as entertaining and nail-biting and exciting as any election season.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And I love that it made us laugh too, making the movie. And it's so nice to make a documentary that makes us laugh, but it's also serious.
Some people say they're a sports junkie. I say I'm a politics junkie.
We were processing the 2016 election results, and we just didn't really find any projects we wanted to work on until we read this article about the Texas Boys State program. In 2017, the legislature there voted to secede from the union, and that caught our eye. That was an outrageous sort of story. So it made us laugh, as we said, but it also occurred to us that there's something profound happening here. Is this a reflection of the national mood? What is happening here? What will they do next year?
I come from a very modest family. I'm on the course to be the first one to graduate from high school. I'm a progressive person, and I'm in a room full of mostly conservative people.
They're very different. They're all smart and ambitious and complicated. They come from different political points of view. That was important for us to represent the complexity and diversity of Texas and our country in this microcosm.
Miss Amanda, this is your first full feature documentary directing, right? And you guys are a real couple in real life. So in a way, this is like your child, right? So what made you guys decide to finally co-direct?
We have been working together for 20 years and married for about as long. And this project was so fundamentally different in the sense that we had 4 characters. We had 1,000 supporting characters. We had 250 counselors. We had 7 cameramen. We had 1 week to capture the film, or we didn't have a film. And so we needed everybody to bring their superpower, and that included me, into the field to be there to help direct the madness.
Are we going to see Girls State soon? I'm interested in that one as well.
We're definitely working on a sequel, Girls State. We can't wait to share it. And I think we're super interested to see how both similar and different it is. And then maybe after that, as Stephen Garza says in the film, we'll make People State, which will be boys and girls together. That'll be interesting too. So I think there's definitely a lot more work to do in this space, and young people kind of figuring out their roles in our democracy. Can't think of a worthier subject.
Of the United States of America!
That's politics, I think. That's politics.
That's politics. As we head to break, let's take a live look outside right now. This is our Rancho Mirage Palm Springs camera. You can see that plume of black smoke. And this is the Walter Clark camera right now that we're looking at. We will have Jerry's forecast after we take a break. Stay with us.
Good Tuesday late morning, starting with the Agua Caliente Casino cam. Mostly clear skies over the valley, although in the distance you can see smoke. That is from the Apple Fire. And that will continue to be in our forecast, at least for the foreseeable future, with hazardous conditions as far as breathing air closer to that fire. And it's all upon the winds, which way it pushes it. And we'll see a little bit more of that haze moving in our direction. Now, as far as the breathing conditions, we are seeing them basically for the Coachella Valley okay. We're in the good, the green category here. But I did see the numbers for Joshua Tree beginning to tick up a little bit. Moderate conditions there and around the San Gorgonio Pass, which is closer to the fire, of course. And we could see all these numbers move up a little later on today as the winds out of the west begin to pick up. As far as yesterday, 113 at Palm Springs, 113 also at Thermal. We're going to be again in that range, just above 110 this afternoon, already getting close to triple digits in the Coachella Valley. 99,000 Palms, Desert Hot Springs 98, Palm Springs at 97, 95 at Cabazon, 89 at Banning, 98 degrees at 29 Palms. Clear skies over the valley and kind of quiet over the southwest, although the monsoonal moisture staying to the east of us for the next several days. High pressure, like the last couple of days, still kind of weakened, but enough strength to move those numbers above 110. So 111 to 114 today with mostly sunny skies. Of course, haze could be a possibility later on today because of the fire. Onshore flow will begin to kick up a little later on today. Strongest winds late afternoon and early evening around the San Gorgonio Pass and high desert. Even very western Coachella Valley could get some gusty winds during that time, around dinner time. But that also is a factor in pushing that smoke in our direction. Of course, the fire is around here, and that smoke will move into the high desert, and some of that smoke will be smelled a little later on today around the Coachella Valley. So keep that in mind. We're probably going to deal with that over the next couple of days. 70s for highs along the coast, 80s in the Inland Empire. We're going to see temps above 110 today, 111s, 112s, 113s possible for the valley. Then the numbers begin to move down. That's a good thing. These are average numbers. This is where we should be in early August. 107 tomorrow for Palm Springs, 109 at Palm Desert. Things change a little bit more by Thursday. Trough of low pressure and a weakening high pressure center will bring those temperatures even below average, 103 to 107. Keep in mind Thursday morning, though, the fog will be moving its way a little more to the east, so out of the San Gorgonio Pass, you could run into stratus. Thursday will be the coolest day with 103 over Palm Springs. Mostly clear skies, of course, haze from the smoke is a possibility, and surface moisture, 40-degree dew points today, 30s tomorrow and Thursday. Here's that Comfort Air 70 forecast, 111 today. Coolest day Thursday, 103 before the numbers move up slowly, but still close to average through Saturday.
Well, have you ever heard of C19 Certified? You're about to hear a lot about it, thanks to the founders of this brand new program. Let's welcome Adam and Andy. Hey guys, welcome to our program.
Hey, thank you so much for having us.
This to me is a brilliant idea because, of course, the CDC hands down guidelines. Of course, we get our government guidelines from our governors and our mayors and all of our legislators. But you have come up with a great new program for employers. Tell me a little bit about C19 Certified.
Sure, Sandy. Yeah, so what we've done, like you said, there's all kinds of guidance and guidelines going on talking about what companies have to do in order to reopen, and it's different on a low municipality by municipality basis. So really what we did is we came up here with this program to provide a one-size-fits-all training program to make sure that employees understand the risks that coronavirus presents and the best practices to mitigate those risks while they're returning to work.
Exactly. And we also took some of our content and behavioralized questions. And so that way employees know, the best practices to do when they do return to the workplace or if they're currently in the workplace.
Such a great idea. And how did you kind of formulate it? How did you distill it all down and decide which were the most important guidelines?
Sure. Well, how we formulated our course originally was we just wanted to find a way to get everyone back up and working as quickly as possible. And, ultimately we just looked to the CDC and the World Health Organization to figure out, what the best protocols were. And then we looked on both the state and federal level to see what we could satisfy on that end.
Yeah. And then ultimately we were able to team up with leading medical and legal professionals out of Atlanta, Georgia, to really run through what we thought was the most critical information from both a medical perspective as well as a legal risk perspective, to make sure that we really hammered home for these employers and employees what we thought the key points that everybody really needed to make sure they brought home were.
So excellent. So it's essentially an e-learning course that employers can access. And tell me how they access that and what the response has been.
Sure. So it's really easy to access. We've made everything digital because of everything that's going on with coronavirus. We wanted to mitigate human contact to contact as much as possible. And so our e-learning course is as simple as getting a link from us that's private. We give that to an employer. They distribute it to their employees, and then their employees can go on, and our course is around 40 minutes. And once they're done, the individual employee will get a certification. And if they're a brick and mortar business, we will give the business a certification that they can hang up and display as well to make their customers feel confident that they've taken the proper steps.
And is this one size fits all? It's for small companies, but also big corporations?
Yeah, so what we have is what we're offering is a standard course. That's our typical one size fits all that we think makes sure that everybody has the baseline knowledge that they need to help try to prevent a widespread exposure in their workplace. But we're also working with companies to develop company-specific courses as well, where if you're walking into a specific office in Massachusetts for this one of our particular companies, what do they want you to do before coming into their office? What is exactly their weekly screening protocol? So we do have more customized courses for companies as well as our standard one size fits all as well. We're offering both solutions.
Exactly. And we've done, everything from restaurants to pharmaceutical companies to education networks. And so, with the standard course, we use our basic course and then with the customized course, we use our basic course and then we add on, like Andy said, those company specific policies.
So they say necessity, of course, is the brainchild of invention. You're young guys. What made you decide to come up with this concept?
Yeah, sure. Well, similar to, like I said before, we just wanted to figure out a way to get everybody working again and ultimately working safely. And so what we did was kind of just put our heads together and said, what can we do? And when we realized we had the ability to run an online education program, I think we both kind of took that responsibility under our arms and just put our heads down and said, you know, we know that we need to get this out quickly to market if it's going to be successful. And so, you know, we spent about a month and a half developing it. And I'd say by month 3, we had a working product.
Fantastic. Well, wishing you the best of luck, Adam and Andy. Thank you so much for sharing it with our viewers. Again, C19 certified, and we'll have your website on there, a link so that everyone can access it. Thank you so much. A great idea, especially during these times.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Andy, stay safe.
Yep.
Thanks. Well, have you ever heard of Ready, Set, Food? If you haven't, you're going to want to know about it, especially if you have a baby in your house or know someone who does. Joining us now is the inventor of this genius new product, Daniel Zakowski. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you for having me on. I'm really excited to be here.
Of course. Well, I told you that I have 2 sons. Fortunately, they did not have any food allergies, but their friends did. And so tell us the kind of the concept and how you developed Ready, Set, Food and what it really gives parents a jump start as far as information on their children's health.
Absolutely. So Ready, Set, Food, our goal is to help prevent food allergies. And we started this company after my nephew, Abe, developed food allergies himself about 3 years ago. And he has life-threatening food allergies now to peanut, egg, dairy, and a number of other allergens. And it turned out there had just been a number of clinical trials showing that you could prevent up to 80% of those food allergies. And there were new medical guidelines at the time from the American Academy of Pediatrics recommending that parents do so. The problem is that even in the clinical trials, there was very low compliance. Most parents weren't able to follow the protocol from the clinical trials and continue to feed their baby these allergenic foods in the way that was shown to prevent food allergies. So you had more than half the parents drop out of the largest clinical trial. So as a parent of 3 young kids myself, I knew that we needed an easy way so that all parents could see the benefit of helping prevent up to 80% of those food allergies. And that most babies at 4 months of age, when they were doing these clinical trials, just weren't ready to eat all the foods that they needed to do to follow the protocol from the clinical trials. But that at 4 months of age, babies are only really eating one thing, which is a bottle. So we knew that if we took the exact same process from the clinical trial and put it in a bottle, that it would be easy for every parent to give their baby the best chance at not developing food allergies.
I love it. I love it. So what you came up with was a powdered version of those products that we're concerned about, nuts and dairy, eggs that children might be have some kind of an allergic reaction to, but it exposes them early on. So tell me a little bit about this product as far as it's a powder, you access it, and you put it in their bottle. And tell me how that process goes.
Absolutely. So we worked with nationally recognized allergists to make sure that we were following a protocol from the clinical trial that would be both safe and also effective at preventing food allergies. And what that looks like is that, the trials show that if your baby at 4 months of age starts to eat small amounts of the allergenic food on a regular basis, like peanut and egg, that helps prevent food allergies. So our product is just a powder of those real foods, just organic peanut, organic egg, and organic milk, but in a form that dissolves easily in breast milk or formula. That way, all you have to do to comply with the clinical trials and the guidelines is to put a little bit of powder in your baby's bottle once a day, and you'll be giving your baby the best chance at not developing food allergies.
I love it. And I know you're on Shark Tank, and Mark Cuban, whose daughter unfortunately has a peanut allergy herself, he was so committed to help you. He's been on board big time. So people can get your product on Amazon and, of course, on your website.
Absolutely. You can go to readysetfood.com or also Amazon. And you're right, Mark has been an incredible advocate for food allergy prevention. He knows how tough it can be to go through having a food allergy, to have a child who carries an EpiPen, that he's constantly worried if she brought it with her. And that we know that if every parent followed the new medical guidelines, and there's even newer medical guidelines from the USDA even last week, that there could be 200,000 fewer babies every single year in the US that develop these severe food allergies.
That is just genius. Thank you so much, Daniel. Boy, that is such great news for parents everywhere, I know. Thank you so much for bringing your product to the attention of our viewers. Best of luck with it, and say hi to Mark Cuban for us.
Will do. And thank you very much for giving us the time, because a lot of parents don't know about food allergy prevention, and especially with the new USDA dietary guideline report issued last week saying that every parent should feed their baby peanut and egg starting at 4 months of age. It's really critical that we get the message out so that all parents know that they can help prevent food allergies for their baby.
Absolutely. Ready, set, food is the way to go. Thanks so much, Daniel.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.